From Lucian, I'm an aspiring writer of fiction, and I'm just wondering what your best advice would be for someone who is fully Christian but wants to write well. Good point. I keep writing the God ending, or that theme, and I'm wondering how to write as a Christian, but not just for Christians without being preachy. It's a really good question. I talk about in my book of my conversion, The Great Good Thing, that one of my prayers as I realized that I was becoming a Christian is, please, Lord, don't make me a Christian novelist, because I just hate that stuff. I hate that happy talk stuff. I even hate when one of my favorite writers, C.S. Lewis, does it. So many of his Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, his Narnia books, basically set up this beautiful fairy tale, and then the lion who represents Christ comes on and solves the whole problem. And I think that that is the way that Lewis saw the world, and it is those are very popular. And so the question Lucian is asking is twofold. First of all, there is a huge audience for sappy Christian fiction. There's a huge audience for sappy Christian fiction, and there's a huge contingent of people who complain when their Christian fiction isn't sappy enough, when it contains real words that people use, when it contains real evil, when people get away with evil as they do in real life, when bad things happen to good people, all those things that are part of the world as God governs it, the real world that God governs. But if you want to be a good writer, that's where you have to go. You have to go against the audience that's demanding sappiness and let them look for other writers. The way to do this is twofold. In fact, it's in keeping with the theme we've been talking about all day. You've got to read the book of nature. You've got to observe how life actually works, and observe the fact that God doesn't always come to people, that people, that is, that God doesn't always save people from the pains of life. People die young. Children die, which is one of the great evils that you have to wrestle with when you're trying to have faith in the goodness of God. People are in grief. God is comforting. God will make you whole. God will heal you. He will give you joy even in grief. But that's a different thing than saying that he makes everything work out. You don't have to have, I sort of became, as a thriller writer, I tried to become a master of the happy, sad ending, where the crime would get solved, but you would still see that it was a sad world. So you just have to pay attention. And the other thing to do is to read books that aren't necessarily Christian books, because there are many, many, many great novels and great movies and great plays that are written and performed by people who aren't Christian at all, and who sometimes see the world in a very clear way. So, for instance, there's a movie called Open Water. It's not a great movie, but it's a good little thriller about people being lost at sea and attacked by sharks. And I always really like this movie because it's a nihilistic movie. It's a movie about how there's no meaning in life at all, except maybe the fact that we love one another. And because of that, it doesn't let gooey Christian thoughts get in the way, and it actually observes the things that happen in life very accurately. And frequently, nihilists are able to do that, where Christian writers get lost in this misty glow of trying to project their inner life, the inner beauty of Christian living, onto the outer world, which is full of brokenness and tragedy. So pay attention to life and read. That's the best advice for any fiction writer is read, read, read. And don't just read the stuff you like that was written yesterday. Read the stuff throughout history that's been deemed great. It will be an education.